What is up guys, Wraec is here with a new video, and today I want to show you guys a hero that many of you might have already forgotten, and of course I am talking about, well, none other than Tasi. Now you guys will say, well, I didn't forget her, Wraec, I play an Athalia team, and well, yeah, she's meta still in PvP in Athalia teams. The reason for that is, well, kind of a stupid one. It is none of her skills really that make her a really great hero. It is her revive ability, and mainly the fact that her revive ability takes kinda long to enact. It just takes a rather long time for her to revive, so a lot of time for Athalia to actually deal damage. And on top of that, with a Supreme Plus, she can get a ton of extra revives. I think she can get up to 6 like this, which is absolutely insane. One thing to note, however, there are two main things that Tasi doesn't like, which is taking a lot of damage when she's close to her HP gate of 50%, which would usually bring her into an invincible butterfly form, during which time she regains HP and then actually revives. If she gets a ton of damage during when she's close to her 50% HP, or just a ton of damage in general, what will happen is you go into a stage, you click the button, and we can just do that right here. Let's try that out. Usually when you put her into the fight alone, she's just instantly one-shot. Yeah, so she just got one-shot by Chippy and didn't go into her butterfly form at all. So she can get one-shot through her HP gate, and this is less uncommon than you might think. This actually happens quite a bit. Not during the fights that you will experience yourself, but when you want to try to make her work and show her to people, you will notice that heroes like Balren or Athalia tend to really one-shot her. Nonetheless, she's pretty cool. She is really pretty cool, and I want to show you one particular fight where you can see, well, first of all, that she gets one-shot. That is one thing that I want to show you guys. So that's the first thing I want to show you guys. We are fighting Swampy Tough here. The team that Swampy Tough uses is pretty cool. I would think he wanted to have a bigger Cider, but Cider is a nice hero for that. Somehow this team always works out to my Cider getting one-shot. So this is a bit horrible. The reason we are using her today, by the way, I think I didn't mention that, is that Pandora can, there we go, and she just got one-shot. Can give her 1000 energy, which kind of fixes one of her major flaws. The major flaw being that she takes a long time to actually get to her ult. With Pandora, that looks a whole lot different. We can, for example, try to attack Andre, maybe. There he is. Let's try to fight Andre. Oh, there's actually Tasi in his profile, which is pretty cool. So, let's set up the team. Okay, win full damage this time. We put Dundinger in there for some extra buffs. And you can see how quickly it really goes into that buff. Put the speed, and there we go. And this is actually quite a lot of damage. So this sometimes seems even more insane than when you use like a Cryonaya. Of course, with a huge Paragon difference here. Let's watch it again from the beginning. Double speed. And the fight is over. It's mad. It's actually quite mad. It's actually quite mad. I mean, not even Athalia was able to deal like a ton of damage during that time, because we just have so much full AoE area burst. Even against the strongest people on my list, this team can sometimes work, or versions of this team can sometimes work. I have to say, you have to have like the key hero. You want to have your Athalia, because combo of Tasi and Athalia is still super strong. Having the Pandora is great just when we are fighting an enemy Dunlinger. Well, of course, we kind of have to wait out our ult, and then I noticed, well, it becomes not the most reliable team in that sense. It kind of often when you will notice that your Tasi is in the revive state during the time where she could potentially ult when Dundinger's ability is actually down, and then you struggle, and usually your Athalia doesn't really take care of Dundinger because it is like next to no damage. So that can kind of happen here. We can try it out. Fighting, of course, some absolutely meta heroes here. We are fighting an enemy Cryonaya. We have an enemy Kulu. The ult of Cryonaya selects the enemies that dealt the most damage, so the question really is, do we get to ult in between and take care of that Cryonaya? And in this situation, yes, we actually did so. With those two enemies on the board, we are absolutely able to wipe this team clean off the board. It doesn't always work, I have to say that. If your Tasi takes like enough damage to get into her 50% HP mode, one of two things can happen. The first thing would be that the enemy Dundinger just recasts his ult. He doesn't need to have any enemies on the board to do that, which of course then blocks Tasi from casting her own ult. And that often leads to Cryonaya then just doing her ult again. And when Cryonaya ults twice, usually no enemy survives. That is just the case. So maybe we can just try that again, and maybe we'll see this situation happening so that I can show you guys this. But nonetheless, we once again see that the damage, even in a situation where Athalia arguably had quite a lot of time to act, where we can see very big damage of Tasi, and that, I have to say, was quite surprising to me. And while this isn't like the most reliable damage dealer, I would think if we had like a season right now where maybe even the option was there to convert damage to true damage, like we had in the season before, or some other similar strong damage buffs were in place, I think Tasi could still make a comeback and be a very strong choice. We have a very huge AoE damage dealer here, so this was something that had me very surprised, I have to say. And would I say she's a hero that will necessarily do well in Arena? Well, I mean, we don't really need the faction skills. I in fact haven't used one during my tests usually, because most of the faction skills have a little bit of a disadvantage, and I have to warn you of that as well in that regard. So, for example, if we take a look at the Graveborn skill, we sacrifice 60% of HP. Yeah, this instantly hits us actually in the revive state. So, not really what we want. So something like this is a little bit of a threat, and we have HP sacrifice mechanics actually in multiple skills, so this makes it a little bit tough. You can do that. You can also use Tasi combined with that. I use Tasi with the Wilder skill. It does work, but you usually don't want to use her with like the Graveborn sacrifice skill. This would be a little bit annoying from the start. Would make her take even longer to get to her ult potentially. I tried her in PvE as well. She can still deal a ton of damage there, if you don't use her in such a team like we did at this point. The most common team in the past was just to put her into an Iron team, really. We have the new skin for Ulmus here as well. Didn't know if you saw this one. It's like a bit of a discussion at the moment, because it is mainly a recolor. People don't necessarily like that, so bit of a tough one. I don't know if you like the Ulmus skin. I personally actually didn't hate it. I have to say it, I didn't hate it. Maybe let's go for... yeah, let's go Velara and Twins on this one. Maybe this would be a pretty cool skill, I think. And let's just try that out. Yeah, having the CC over there. Let's just see if we can get some proper damage. And the question that you really always have to ask yourself... oh, we didn't use Pandora, I just noticed. Very smart, Mr. Wraec. Maybe it still works. Yeah, we got to the ult. So we don't necessarily need Pandora. You can't really use Pandora with Twins, by the way. It really doesn't work out. What you need, however, and that is something that is fairly annoying, to get like a consistent CC with Tasi, you really want to have either a secondary CC, so that you can kind of bridge the gaps between her ults, or what you want to have is you want to have her charms, and her charms are mainly the ultimate power, which, yep, you can see huge damage. The role of huge damage could of course be taken by Faramore, but what you get with Tasi on top is CC, which is rather nice. So still a very cool hero. The charms, as I just said, are very important. We do have them. I acquired them for the testing, an absolutely horrible choice that nobody should do, because, well, yeah, I know I don't have any materials to get the charms necessary for Dreamrealm, so that was an expensive choice. But what they give you is not only more damage to enemies under control effects this season, they also give you the extra duration for your ult, usually 3.5 seconds, and with the charms that give you 4 ult power, you actually get to 5.5 seconds. This is a major difference actually, and will help you to CC the enemies longer and have more time to acquire energy. Now that we have done basically what I didn't want to do, we can try to do the same thing here without Velara. Now we have one more hero that we could actually use. What do we want to do? Oh, we could go with Siren. That is pretty sick, actually. Let's try that. So, Tasi goes into the box. Pandora pulls her out. Bam! There we have the ult. Also ult animation for Siren, pretty sick. If the enemies are close together, the good thing is Tasi will actually hit them all more often. So we kind of improve our damage. The Pandora ult, however, just made our Iron run away, which is not really what we want, I guess. For the most part. No, probably not. I mean, we have pretty good ult uptime, I want to say. Like, not perfect, still not perfect, even with the upgrade damage. And we have charms, by the way, on Pandora for skill power. So we get 160 energy per second here. is fairly decent. Would I say it's super meta? No, not really, but you have good damage, and I think she's still a very valid hero for that. So just a question of when you want to summon her. If you still have her on your account, I think those are the people that I really want to address with this. If you still have her on your account, feel free to use her in PvP. Give her a try again. Maybe if you summon Pandora too, try out the combination, you can do some sick things with it, because I saw many people write, oh wait, I need Cryonaya to use Pandora. Well, you kind of don't. You can even use Tasi and really do some awesome things with it. And I think that is like a pretty cool thing to try, pretty cool thing to check out. And if you have the Tasi skin, wonderful opportunity to use that as well. So this is really what I wanted to show you, just some Tasi gameplay, just some, well, memories really here from the past, and some action with Pandora and Tasi together, with I think works reasonably well. Would I say it's the best choice? No, but it's probably top 3, honestly, in my opinion, from the heroes that just like profit the most from it. Because you get like this, usually some people said, oh, you really want to use Chimera, but Chimera, like, especially at the start, already has 300 energy, so doesn't get to her ult very much so faster. With Tasi, it's really, in my opinion, the bigger difference, so fairly interesting. But there are so many combinations still to try here that I'm not sure what we will end up with. So beyond that, once again a shout out to our sponsor Loot Bar. They now went ahead and put all the other festive bundles here in one pack, by the way, to make it a little bit easier for you to purchase them. I recommended that to them. I was hoping actually that they put those into one pack as well. But other than that, really, you get the cheapest dragon crystals, you get the cheapest pack prices here with Loot Bar and lock-in top-up. So that I would say I would definitely recommend it to you. I use the service myself. Top support, top service, and the cheapest prices overall as well. So definitely recommend Loot Up. And if you go through the link down in the description, you not only support the channel, but you will also get some discount coupons when you register your account on the platform. So that was the video about Tasi. I hope you enjoyed this little blast from the past here with some PvP action. Tell me your opinion on her. Do you still use her in Supreme Arena? I think it has been quite some time since I saw like a Tasi non-Athalia centered team in PvP. The skin is just cool, I have to say. It's absolutely cool skin. Tell me if you still use her. I would be very curious about it. Maybe we see a comeback with Starlord. Starlord comes up with a great team on Fight Club. The AFK Journey Discord server, that would be absolutely marvelous. So with that, I wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.